Yo, what's up, boys? Back here with another video. As you can see, in the pool, chilling right now. Got the laptop right here, getting some work done. But I kind of just wanted to film this video right now because I've been having a lot of thoughts lately, and I also haven't filmed a YouTube video in a while. But I feel like there's a lot of things, like, not in a bad way, but I've had a lot of thoughts on like certain things that have helped me grow, just in all areas of my life. And I know I haven't uploaded a video in a long time. You know, about sales, about what I've been doing or whatnot. So I figured I'd upload a video. I need to be a lot more consistent, so I'm gonna try my best. But there's just a lot of things that have been on my mind in terms of like what habits have actually helped me. Because I was talking to one of my good friends earlier in the week, and there's like honestly a big difference in mindset between like one who wants to see success and one who like is just normally going for whatever goals they have in mind. And I'm not saying that's a bad thing, but I kind of just wanted to talk about like the habits that I've done, maybe the mindset things that I've done that have gotten me to where I am today, made a good amount of money at the age of 18. Now, it's gonna be more so like habits that I've done and things that I've noticed that have actually helped me grow and helped me reach like the level of success that I've hit so far. Now, the first thing, it's gonna be more so like daily habits / things that I believe everyone should do at a young age to actually get to their goals in life. The first thing is gonna be morning routine. Now, I don't know if you guys prioritize this a lot. I personally didn't, but I didn't realize how much it was actually important to prioritize your morning routine to set yourself up for success in the day. Now, when I say morning routine, this kind of goes into the next habit, which is like actually not a habit, but it's like something that I think everyone should do. But it's gonna be actually, what's the word for it? Like resetting your dopamine. So this is gonna tie into the morning routine, and I'll explain why. So number one, in the morning, it kind of correlates together after I explain it right now. But in the morning, your dopamine levels are reset. Now, if you guys don't know what your dopamine is, it's pretty much like your levels in your brain that let you focus. So if your dopamine levels are really messed up, you're not going to be able to focus. You're going to have brain fog. You're going to, crash a lot. Now, some examples that spike your dopamine is just scrolling on Instagram, scrolling on Reels, taking hot showers or warm showers in the morning because they feel good. Like, there's things that tell your brain that something feels good, but it's not that productive. It's spiking your dopamine. So when you're scrolling on Instagram or scrolling on TikTok or short-form content, and then you do a task after, for example, let's just say you wake up and you scroll for 30 minutes on TikTok or Instagram Reels. I used to do this a lot. You go downstairs to make eggs. Let's say you don't have your phone on you. You'll find like making the eggs just like really boring. Like, it's not going to feel fun. And although it's not like supposed to be a fun task, but it's a very normal task, right? So it shouldn't feel like boring, but you're going to notice it'll probably feel really boring just because you were just used to stimulating your brain a lot. And now it doesn't let you focus. Now, the reason I bring it up in your morning routine is because if you can manage to stay off your phone, like the first 30 minutes to an hour a day, I try my best to do at least an hour because the longer, the better. If you can manage to do that, because your phone produces so much dopamine, you stimulate yourself whether you're checking emails, checking text messages, listening to music maybe in the morning. Scrolling is probably the worst thing you could do. But if you learn how to actually make your morning routine a good habit and stay off your phone, which keeps your dopamine levels at a stable level, which lets you focus, it'll let you do a lot more work. Now, from me, I personally don't think a lot of things in life, like a lot of skills and all these other things, obviously there's going to be hard work put in, but the act itself of learning a skill that can pay you a lot of money at a young age is not hard. What's hard is staying focused and doing the work. So I figured that out, that if I can stabilize my dopamine levels to where I stay focused throughout the whole day, or when I do the most amount of work, whether it's in the morning, whether it's throughout the day, or if I just keep my dopamine levels stable throughout the whole day, I'll be able to get the most amount of work done. Now, I started doing this a lot more recently, and I've noticed a significant amount of progress in the work that I do and the focus that I have. Because, like I said, my dopamine levels are messed up. So I don't go on my phone. I don't scroll. If I do scroll, if I do allow myself to, which I still try not to at all because it's just not good. Like, it's just a waste of time and you're just, kind of stimulating yourself. If I do, I only allow myself to do it at night because I go to sleep, right, before I actually go to bed. Because then my dopamine levels will reset and I have no more work left for the day. Now, I still am trying to get rid of that, but if I do let myself do that, that's when I'll do it. Now, that's number one, building a good morning routine, staying off your phone at least in the morning, and normalizing and actually, what's the word for it? Like doing a dopamine detox to actually make sure you stabilize your dopamine levels to actually be as productive as you can throughout the day. Number two is going to be eliminating all distractions, like in your daily habits and in your focus sessions. So let's say you're not on, Reels, you're not on your phone at all. You're gonna notice that, like, obviously you can focus on certain tasks, right? Like, you get your work done, you'll be able to focus, and a lot of time's gonna go by. Like, it's gonna be like 5 minutes go by, and you've done a lot of work, right? Because you're really focused. you're in the zone, and if you can eliminate this distraction, it's kind of like a small habit, but if you can have your phone in a different room when you're doing this work while not being on your phone and you haven't stimulated yourself so your dopamine levels are stable, you'll realize how much more work you can do that will let you get to the level of success that you want. Now, the third is going to be getting yourself in uncomfortable situations. Now, this is not really like a habit. This is just kind of like a tip to do. But for myself, I've noticed that I've got the most amount of growth in my life at my age when I put myself in the most uncomfortable situations. Now, I'll give you guys an example. I don't know if you guys have, if I'm new to your page or whatnot, but if you guys have seen my channel, I moved into a house at the start of this year in January. Now, it was very scary. I didn't have like as much money as I thought I needed to actually move out. I was making okay money, like probably like close to 10K a month consistently, but it's still scary, right? Because I lived with my parents the whole time. Everything was paid for. So paying rent, paying for everything, like your groceries or food, everything that you need to pay for, it's like kind of scary at first, right? You don't have the back burner of your parents. You don't have the financial back burner. You're all on your own. Now, this is the whole reason I wanted to move out though, because I knew I needed to get uncomfortable, which would push me to grow and push me to make more money if I know that I'm in an uncomfortable spot to need to make more money. So putting yourself in uncomfortable situations is what causes you to grow. It's like literally the simple quote, like you only grow through uncomfort. It's not comfort, it's through uncomfort, right? So the more I find myself in an uncomfortable spot where I need to be, is the more I'm actually wanting to make a decision that I know will help me grow. Another example. So about 3 months ago, I was in a really steep hill. I don't know if you guys already know what I do. I do high ticket sales. Long story short, it's like remote sales, but I'm only commission based, right? I'm not paid off salary. I'm not paid off every job that I do. So if I don't do well, if I don't close a deal, if I don't make a sale, I don't make money for myself, right? Now, about 3 months ago, I was selling for a job that was pretty difficult. It was selling to older people, prospects that just thought they had a lot more authority over me, thought they could control the calls, the sales calls. Long story short, I was just losing a bunch of calls, right? I went like 4 or 5 days without closing a deal. And I was really stuck, right? Like I was losing money. I was not making money. I was paying for food, groceries, simple expenses day to day. And I just felt like I was losing money. Now, in the time being, I know 5 days without making money is not the biggest deal. But for me, considering that I made money pretty consistently for the past year, almost every day, because I've been in sales, doing that 5 day, it was maybe even like close to 7 day stretch mark of not making money because I was literally not good enough and I was getting slammed on calls and losing deals was really discouraging, right? Now, I knew the one thing though, I knew the solution to fix it was to just get better, right? As simple as bettering my skill set to make me more money and beat these calls. So I've had a mentor for since I started my journey, long story short, and I knew that to learn the skill, it would obviously mean I would have to pay for more help from my mentor. Now, I needed to call reviews, I needed to fix my skills, and I needed to get better at the sales calls to review them, to know what I did wrong. That way I can fix it. To pay my mentor though, it would have costed a couple $100, like $400 or $500 to obviously pay him just to get one call review or even more, right? Which is fair. I'm not saying this against paying or investing in yourself, but at the time being, it was uncomfortable, right? Because I wasn't making money. I was losing money. I was paying for, little utilities. And again, I know not making money for 5 days is not the biggest deal, but to me, it felt like it was. And I knew I was stressing out, because I was used to making consistent income. And then I get on a job opportunity that has the ability to make me a lot more money, and I'm just not making it, right? Because I'm losing these deals. So I knew I had to invest in myself again to learn it, to get better at it. That way I can learn the skill to pay me a lot more money in return. Now, I didn't want to do it though, right? I was losing money. I was like, I don't want to spend another $400 or $500 for 3 or 4 more sessions each. So that's another $400 a session was what I was gonna pay. So it's $400 for 3 sessions. That's $1,200 total I had to pay, right? And at this time, I was already losing deals, so it was uncomfortable. The second I realized it was uncomfortable was the second I realized I needed to do it. Because if I put myself in that situation where it's gonna be uncomfortable, then I know I'm gonna grow. And I couldn't think myself anymore from that little week stretch mark 2 months ago, because it made me better. It made me my money back, and it made me a lot more money because now I have a skill where I know how to deal with those type of prospects, for example. So just putting yourself in uncomfortable situations, the second you realize something is uncomfortable is the second you realize you should pull the trigger on it. The next thing, it's gonna be a habit of who you surround yourself with. Now, it sounds really cliche. Obviously people say you are who you surround yourself with the most, but as cliche as it sounds, it really is true. Without you noticing or not, if you have goals and you are surrounded with, your high school friends, your middle school friends, or whatever friends that you've had for your whole life, and they just don't have the same goals as you, I'm not saying that I've cut off all my guys. If anything, I still hang out with a lot of my high school friends or whatnot, the same. But it comes down to who you surround yourself with the most, right? So all love to my guys out there or whatnot, but if you have friends who aren't aligned with the same goals as you, I'm not saying to cut them off at all. I still hang out with them, like I said, completely all the time. But you'll notice that if you hang out with them the most and you're not surrounded with people a lot, with the people who have the same goals as you, subconsciously, whether you want to believe it or not, your other friends are kind of holding you back a little bit. Now I'll explain what I mean. So subconsciously, if you guys don't know, your subconscious mind, it picks up and it reacts to like everything that goes on in your life. Whether it's the people you talk to, the way people speak, the music you listen to, all this other stuff, right? So when you're talking to these other people that don't have similar goals, whether you're friends or not, subconsciously it's going to limit you to a certain belief that you can only surpass, and you won't be able to surpass it. I'm not saying that you won't, but it's going to be harder to surpass it just because these people beliefs kind of rely on you and they kind of deflect on you. So you start forming these beliefs. For example, let's say you want to, start a business online and your friend wants to go to college. So just the way you guys have conversations about your goals or whatnot, it's going to subconsciously have an effect on you because his goals aren't the same as yours. So it's kind of going to hold you back in almost like a mental bubble. So if you could surround yourself with people who want to see you win, who have the same goals as you, or even doing better than you, it's going to push you to actually have an expansion on what you know you could believe and what you know you could do in life. For example, the way I got exposed to this was one of my good buddies. He was doing online business. One of my good friends, he was doing online business a while ago. He started before me, and I went to his house, his penthouse in Arizona, probably 6 months ago, and I was exposed to a lot more money. Right, he was making more money than me. His business partner was making more money than me. The garage on the bottom of the whole parking garage had a lot nicer cars, like McLarens, all this other stuff. So I was really exposed to all this money people could make, not just in general, but money online. So that opened my mindset. I was around people who were making more money than me, people who had more money than me, and people who achieved what I wanted to achieve. That then expanded my mindset. That let me know how much more I could believe. But if I didn't go, I probably would still have the same limiting mindset that I've had, let's say over 6 months ago, right? And that's because I was around a bunch of guys who didn't have the same goals as me. Then again, don't shade. Obviously do whatever you want in life. If you find fulfillment in going to college, doing your job, that's totally cool. Everyone just has different goals. But I was around all these people who didn't have those same goals as me and weren't there. So it's almost like I didn't know how much I could actually do and how much I could believe. So after I went to Arizona and saw all that and actually believed all that, that's when I knew I could do a lot more and actually grow a lot more. And I ended up moving in with those guys this year, which helped me grow the most. So even in January, when I moved out of my house, my parents' house, to obviously move in with a bunch of guys, that's when I made the most money I've ever made in my life. The January, the first month that I put myself in an uncomfortable position to do it. It wasn't a shocker. I knew that's what was going to happen because I knew I would make it work because I had that pressure under me. Now, another one, probably the last final habit, is going to be the level of self-discipline that you have. Now, this isn't really a habit. This is kind of like a trait that you need, but it's going to be self-discipline because self-discipline is the most important thing that you can do for yourself, because if you can't tell yourself that you're going to do something and you can't do it because you're lazy or you just don't want to, it's like you can never be successful. Just because it's like if you can't even trust yourself to do something that you tell yourself you're going to do, how are people going to trust you as a business owner? How are people going to trust you as a coworker? How are people going to trust you as someone who can make a good amount of money or be successful when you can't even trust your own self? So it's like if you tell yourself you're going to go to the gym 5 days a week and you only go 2 or 3, it's like that's a lack of self-discipline. And this can go in the dopamine, because if you can focus on your goals, you're going to be able to have self-discipline naturally, right? So if you could build self-discipline, you can pretty much do anything. If you tell yourself you're going to do something, whether it's do a task in the morning, get whatever you need to get done on a day by a certain time, and you can actually do it, you'll see a lot of success. You'll get there. But not a lot of people have that self-discipline because they're lazy, right? It's just they're comfortable and they don't have that. And that's something that everyone needs to learn to do, because you need to learn how to trust yourself and do what you tell yourself to do, because if you don't, you're never going to be successful in the entrepreneurial world, so be called. The last one I would say, this isn't really a habit, but this is every trait I feel like everyone should have, is to take an investment or take some sort of risk. I'm not saying you have to invest in a course or mentorship, but take some sort of investment or take some sort of risk in yourself. The reason I believe this so strongly is because I know there's a lot of people out there who are going to have controversial takes about this, about like you can figure everything out on your own or whatnot, which it's not bad. Definitely can. Like, there's people out there who get things done on their own. But if you truly believe in yourself, which is all entrepreneurship is about, believing in yourself and doing a task, if you truly believe in yourself and you're too scared to kind of take a risk on yourself, it's almost like you don't believe in yourself. It's kind of contradicting. Because if you truly believe in yourself, no matter what risk you take, you know it'll work out. So it's like if you don't have enough self-belief in yourself to want to take a risk and go for something that you know is what you want to achieve, whether it's because you're scared of losing money, you're scared of losing time, any of that stuff, then that's what's going to hold you back from really seeing a big change. Because if someone really believes in themselves, they'll do whatever it takes, whether it means taking a risk, investing in themselves, pulling that trigger. So I feel like everyone needs to do that, because number one, when you also more specifically invest in yourself and invest money, it kind of puts pressure on you where you know you have to make that money back to hold yourself accountable, right? And it shows that you actually believe in yourself. People say they do, but they're not willing to take the action to do it, right? So if you just tell yourself you believe in yourself, but you're not willing to take a risk on yourself, it's like kind of contradicting. Because if you really truly believe that you could make something work, you'll do whatever it takes, right? Whether that means investing, taking a risk, getting out of your comfort zone, and holding yourself accountable, right? So that's the last thing I can recommend, because I've done it so much. I've invested so much money into my education, and it honestly is the reason I'm here where I am today, because I've learned a lot of things to do and the actually risk to take to actually get to where I want to be in life. But yeah, those are just like some habits, traits that I feel like that I picked up that have really, really helped me grow, and I hope it can help someone else in this video. I'm not saying you have to get into sales or whatever I'm in, but any sort of online business or entrepreneurship that you want to get into, it would definitely help. I hope someone could benefit from this, like I said. If you guys are curious a little bit more about what I do, you can DM me. I'll leave my Instagram down there. You can give me a follow too, and ask me any questions about what I do or whatnot. But yeah, other than that, I hope someone found this helpful, and I will see you guys in the next video. Peace.